So we're going to do fomentations next. And again, as we've been doing, I can just go over some of the material that you're going to need. We have a separate hand towel, and I'm going to show you what this is for. I'm going to illustrate an alternative method to the fomentations. I have here another towel just laid flat, and I'm going to show you more about that. Some 3 extra towels, a blanket, a sheet, and I have a pot with hot water. Here we have a massage bed. You can use the bed that's in your home. This could even be done on the floor if necessary. Whatever your circumstance, you can get creative at your house. But we just set up with a massage table, or you can put this over the counter if you want to. Just wipe down the counter. You can set this up with a pad underneath so it's comfortable, and a pillow. And again, I'm going to be using Martin as my assistant. And so one of the ways we do fomentations we're going to see applies again heat. So we're using water. So you want to be cautious. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. The first one that we're going to demonstrate is with this towel here. And you can see that I already have it, I'm holding it to the ends. And I'm going to demonstrate and show you something that you can do. I'm going to stand to the side. So I'm going to take my towel, and this is hot water. As you'll see the steam, right? We're just showing for illustration. This is hot water, and I'm going to put my towel in there and make sure it gets saturated with that water. And now I still have it to the ends. I'm not being burnt. I'm being very cautious. You can see the lines where the water is to let you know your mark to not cross. And you can see that I'm simply rolling this. If you have a third person with you, they can help you. One person can hold that, and while you hold the other side. But if not, this is something you can do also. If you're helping someone and it's just 2 of you, and the individual is sick, or they have congestion or asthma, any lung problem, you'll see it's draining there. So that's exactly what you want to do. Just make sure that it's well drained. And this is your hot water. And so at this time, I'm going to just put this away, and I'm going to show you what you would do with your other towels. So you'll see what will be done with this next as we continue. So the second method that you can use is a method where we microwave the towels. And one thing you want to do is you're going to have your towels ready. It's good to have everything on hand and ready to go. I'm going to ask Martin to come and lie down for us. Now, usually with this treatment and fomentations, I'm going to especially be doing this over the chest area. Something that's really good to do is to keep him warm. So we're just covering him with a sheet to keep him insulated. So you just want him covered. And again, I'm going to take a blanket next. If you do have help at home, this will be a good time. But even if you don't, all you need is a sheet and a blanket. And you can see we just want it covered, and it's just to insulate him. And next what we're going to do is we're going to take our towel, and if I was doing this, so I'm doing this in a microwave, I'm going to take my towel and I'm going to roll it oh, I'm sorry, before you put it in a plastic bag, after you roll it, a good thing to do is wet it and make sure it's wet and you wring it out, just as you saw me do earlier. When you do wet it, you're just doing it in warm room temperature water. And when you wring it out, you're making sure that it's not dripping. Now with this wet towel, this warm wet towel, it doesn't have to be hot water. I'm gonna put that towel in a plastic bag. And as I put this towel in the plastic bag, I put this into the microwave. This is the second way you can do the fomentation. And I do that for about 5 minutes. And I just want that to get really hot. So then now after it's done, I take it out. I'm being very cautious because I know it's hot in the bag. And I'm over the towel, the area that I need to be. I bring it to the towel. And then what I do is you can undo it or you can make sure it comes out the bag. And I like to keep mine folded, as you can see here. I like to keep mine folded. And remember, this is hot, so be very cautious. And I'm moving quickly because I don't want this heat to evaporate very quickly. So I'm covering it. And right now with this towel, an important note is layers. Everybody is different. So however you choose to, when you choose to put this on, because many of us have towels at home, when you choose to put this on over the chest, just keep in mind, you have to be very observant. And you're going to see what I do. I'm going to just lift the sheet over. And at this time, he wouldn't have on, they wouldn't have on a shirt. You're going to put it right over in the skin. But you can see that I have 2 layers on, and I'm going to put it over. If you notice, the front part, the open flap, I'm putting away from his face because this is very hot. And if the steam will go this way. You don't want the steam go into the face. So we're putting it over. We're making sure it's insulated. I'm putting it over the chest, and I'm asking him the question, how does it feel? Is it too hot?
No, it feels good.
So it feels good right now. If he did tell me, oh, Jai, that's a little hot, then what I would do is I would just take one off, and I would put another layer down and put my compress on that instead, my fomentation on top of that instead, to add an extra layer. But since he can handle the heat, we're going to put that there. And we cover him. Now at this point, again, you want to observe him. Something that could be very useful is if you have I'm going to remove my pot of water. If you have a towel for the head, the individual might begin to sweat. And remember, this is for if anybody have bronchitis, we know what's happening right now, it's attacking the respiratory system. And this is great for that. Also, if there's pain associated with those attacks on the respiratory system. This really helps to bring fresh blood to the area. And you'll begin to see, especially being under these layers, some sweat might form on the forehead. And we just take our towel and we can put it in some cool water. And what I'll do is I'll just put that over the head. And this is very relaxing for him as the cool water goes over his forehead. And at this point, I'm going to leave this on for about 3 to 5 minutes. And what I'm going to do is after I leave this on and I'm checking on him, some people have actually fallen asleep during this treatment. It's very relaxing. At this point, I'm going to take this off. And we're going to do an exchange. And I'm going to show you how this is done. So now to continue, we have our bin with some cool water in it. And what I would do is I would just take that water. I would take a washcloth with the water. I would wring it out. Now this is really cold water, ice cold water. And I would wring that out. And what I'll do is, put that to the side. I'm going to gently, remember we're still cautious with the individual that we're helping. You're going to see in this area of the chest, it's very red at this time because we have pulled so much blood to the surface of the body of the skin. And what we're going to do now is take our cold washcloth or your hand towel, whatever is at hand, and you tell the patient, because this is going to really wake them up, especially if they're sleeping, I'm going to put some cold over your chest now, okay? It's really cold. You give them the warning. They might be a little surprised when it touches them, but you put it and you do a cold mitten friction or a cold friction, and you're rubbing pretty vigorously. And you're going to do this for about 30 seconds. And this pushes the blood away from the area, away from the lungs. And as you begin to do that, it also, you feel the contractions. And then after that, we want to take a towel, and this is an important part. You want to dry that area. You don't want the chest to be wet when the heat goes back on it. So I'm making sure that it's very dry. And then what you would do, I'm just showing you for that purpose, what you would do is you would get your other towel ready. So it would have been good to have extra towels already in the microwave so that when you exchange, they're ready to go. So I would take my extra towel that I was already in the microwave, and remember that this is hot, so I want to use cautious. Some people use tongs as a means so that their hands don't have to hold it. And I'm doing the same principle once again. I'm putting it over. I remove my sheet. I notice the closed part of the towel, again, is going so that no steam, the steam comes this way and not in the face. So we'll do that for about 5 exchanges, and we do the hot and the cold, the friction rub, about 5 times. We're giving them water to drink, making sure they're hydrated, and we're just observing them. Now this is very good in clearing up the congestion in the area, and remember to keep a cold towel on their head. And in closing, we always like to close with the coal, what was shown. So I'm going to remove this. I have my coal, and this is the last time. You've done this about 5 times. And I do my final coal mitten friction for 30 seconds. And then I dry the area. You can use your towel again to make sure that the area is dry. Now after this, some individuals desire that they just want to take a nap. So what you could do is you would put this back over them. And as they're there, you can allow them to rest. Rest is a very good thing to do in many of these treatments for the body to recuperate and to become strong again. It will help to repair any damages in the body, even in the lung tissue. So this is a great treatment to use for individuals who are facing any of those respiratory problems.
Thank you so much, Jai and Martin. And I would add a little bit here, and that is this particular treatment. I know there's a lot of folks out there right now who are concerned about the pandemic, COVID-19, the coronavirus. This particular treatment that Jai has so ably described and shown you was used very heavily in 1918 during the Spanish flu epidemic. And those places that, I can't say it was used heavily, it was used. And those places that used it discovered that the people that had this particular fomentation done to them did not get as sick as others, and their sickness did not last as long as others. This is extremely helpful for what we're facing now, in addition to just your regular general life and illnesses that you may experience. But for those of you who are a little nervous or who are experiencing symptoms now, this is a terrific thing. One extra thing that they did in 1918 that they found was helpful was, as was described, we laid the towel across, we laid the hot fomentation across. Back in 1918, they learned that if they brought that heat up to the chin and went down, that for whatever reason, for that particular situation, it was even more helpful. So just that little post-it note. We cannot thank you enough for sharing your time and your victimness with us, because this is really helpful information that we hope is going to be a blessing to you, to your family, and to those that you might be able to help. There may be people in your community, in your neighborhood, in your church who are ill and need help. And with these basic skills, you can help them. And these are things that you have at home. We all have blankets. We all have towels. We all have water. And we can use them to be a blessing to ourselves and to others. Thank you so much.